With my experience being neurodivergent and being a really competitive person throughout my life, it had some major flaws and major challenges that I had to get through. Growing up, I always had hyperfixations on basically about everything coming from technology to video games. Um, and especially it showed my hyperfixation showed especially a lot in the way I play with my toys. Like my parents always used to say that whenever I get a new toy, I just play for it with 3 to 4 months and then just forget about it completely. And you know, I recently got diagnosed at 18 years old, and looking back on my life, I see a lot of the signs, and I don't know why I didn't get caught early on. You know, and looking at it more and more when I began to play sports at about what was it, second grade, so around 9 to 10 years old, or eight to 9 years old. Um, I would hate losing, and I would never stay focused. Like I would feel so good about myself and how I'm performing, and then I would just lose one game, and it would just all crumble down, and I'll just give up right at that. And it it really really stunted my growth going as an adult. Well, as a young adult now, um, it's really something to think about and really take note of if you are neurodivergent yourself, which is why I wanted to make this video. Hi, my name is MyJ, or Hollywood as my screen name is, and I'm the aspiring deadlock pro, really just a pro in anything I can get my hands on. I just want to be great and I just want to compete for the rest of my life. Now, um, to give a little background, I was the captain of my school's esports team for 2 years. I started the program myself. Well, not really. I had the help of a teacher that started the program with me. And with that, it was my relationship with video games to start off. It's been always something I can come back to 24/7. Like I always remember myself playing games since the age of 3 years old. My first ever video game that I played was Super Mario Brothers, and then I played Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, the 2011 version. That is what really made me fall in love with video games. That game right there. And that obsession carried me all throughout middle school and high school and elementary, of course. Um, I just love playing Call of Duty. Even though I was a little kid, I couldn't really get that many kills, or I wasn't that good enough, and I hated losing. I remember when I used to play Madden with my brothers, um, he would always get an interception on me, and it would frustrate me and overstimulate me to the point I would just start bursting out in tears, and you know, kind of really fucked me up in my mental. I just wanted to be good, but I didn't know how to figure out how to be good. Because with me personally, I don't know if other neurodivergent people feel this way. I want the sense of instant perfection and instant gratification. And you can't really get that. That's what being human is. Being human is really just going at something until you really perfect it. Um it but eventually I started to notice myself getting better and better. And that was a positive to that. Now back to the topic of me in high school with the esports team. Being around in and being competitive in something that I actually truly love, that really spoke to me back then, was amazing. You know, and then being made captain that same week, it just really showed how much I really loved and cared about this. Because I know I wasn't good. I wasn't good at all. I'm bronze in Valorant, still silver in CS. I barely play these games because of what I said before, with that instant gratification of me always wanting something to be perfect instantly. Um, and I had to humble myself. I had to humble myself. And it was hard to. It was really hard to, because I'm supposed to be the captain. I'm supposed to be the best player on the team. I'm supposed to have everybody together in a line. And to not be good enough and having to lead at the same time made me feel like I wasn't worthy of that position. Like I didn't deserve to be where I was. Um, but with my team, we still won games. We still won competitions. To switch to a different topic, mostly talking about school. I feel like with a lot of neurodivergent people at a young age, we felt like that we were always gifted, we were always ahead. Like we had a lot of teachers or even our parents tell us that we were gifted. And with me personally, that really fed into that whole sense of I should be great at everything first try. And there's no need for practice. But in life, we got to practice at things, like I said before. So with my esports team, I had a lot of work to do. It was a lot of work because with most like scholastic activities and sports like that, being a captain, you had some extra responsibilities. You're kind of just uh like the person to look to before you go to the coach. With that, I was damn near running the team. I was running the social media. I had to put rosters together. I was fundraising. I was keeping track of everything, every device that we had. And even then, with our budget, we had like a shoestring budget. We only had one PS5, one Xbox, and no PC. So a lot of us had to just bring whatever we had from home. And we were just really a skeleton crew trying to make our dreams come true. Well, I can say that for me at least. Some people just looked at it as another fun after school activity. And I kind of pushed them too hard, I felt like, because I just wanted perfection. You know, perfection is something that in this mortal realm you just cannot obtain, really. But I kept pushing and pushing, and I used to be burnt out because at the same time I was doing speech. Um, my school speech team, I never thought I had a fear of public speaking until I stepped in a classroom on a Saturday morning and just absolutely fumbled and flopped. And I felt so bad about myself, I cried. Now, I'm pushing 16 years old, crying in a classroom with a bunch of people just trying to hide it. It's it's not fun at all because I thought I'd be great at this. I practice my speech and I get up there and I just fumble, I just flop. But you know, everything takes practice, and that's something you gotta really understand with this. Now, another piece of advice, if you're someone in the same position as me, is to, as much as your brain tells you to switch up what you're doing, you can't. You can't. You really can't. It tells you to go a different way. Well, let me get add some clarification to this. Well, I don't mean that in what you want to achieve. I don't mean switch up what you want to achieve. You gotta stay with the same goal in mind. You can switch up how you get there, of course, but you can't let your dream, something that you really want, just fall away because of a hyperfixation. I had that happen before, you know. Um, that's why I'm still trying to grind this way because I could have been there already if I just wanted to really focus up on what I really, really wanted to do. But sometimes life leads you astray, and it's okay to fall off the path, but you gotta always remember to get back right on it. You know. Um, Now, to go into a little more of school during high school, I'm thinking it was a breeze. I barely had homework, but well, not barely. I always had homework. I just felt like it wasn't really necessary, because like once you're in high school, you get that sort of sense of freedom, and once you get that freedom, nobody can. It seems in your head nobody can stop you, and that's where I fell. I felt really bad. I came in with a 3.8 GPA, which was not bad at all because I also had an honors class in math, even though I suck at math. Um, and then my sophomore year, I fell down to damn near 2.5 GPA because I got involved with wrong people and I led myself astray. You know, that's the big thing. That's the biggest thing. You gotta keep focused and stay focused. You can't let outside factors, even if it's really tearing you apart inside, you just can't let it get to you. Um, but eventually, I got back on track. You know, around the ending of my senior year, just graduated in May. And now I'm trying out this content thing. You know, and saying a lot, but I feel like this is gonna lead me on the right path of where I want to be. I know since I was really little, around when we first realized that people could go pro at esports, well, I was like, well, I would say around right around when Ninja became popular, but I always knew way before. Around when CS:GO was really popular, I want to say like 2016. I used to watch a lot of pro players, um, and pro matches, of course. I always knew I wanted to be pro in that, and that's something I could go pro in. And I'm still fighting for this dream, and I know I can achieve it because I got to keep working on stuff like this. I got to keep getting my name out there. And the reason I'm making this video, I want to build a community of people that are like-minded like me in the constant chase of growing and trying to get your dreams to come true. And another thing I want to say is that don't get discouraged of people younger around you that is already where you want to be. That's something that always kind of ticked me off. Well, not ticked me off, but kind of like ate at me. Like, wow, this person's 17, they're already signed to a pro team, and they're getting paid this amount of money for doing what you do, but you suck at. And, don't get jealous of that person. Don't get mad at that person. Just know, recognize, give them their credit, and get to keep pushing with you because you always got to be you. One thing I learned is that being you and being genuine will get you a lot farther than just trying to fake it till you make it and being someone else that you're really not. Um, you know, but that's the end of my video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and always remember to love yourself first, always stay focused, and keep going.